Hi, this is AB from Pattern Academy by Charnold. Welcome to my channel. If you want to see how I made this drop shoulder dress, please stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do, and make sure to turn on your notification bell so that each time I upload new videos, you get notified. Here is a quick sketch of the drop shoulder dress I'll be showing you how to cut and sew. And as you can see, there are 6 pattern pieces needed for this dress. Here I'm showing you the full scale version of the pattern pieces. These are the 6 pattern pieces we will need for this dress. The front, the back, the sleeve, the pocket, the front facing, and the neck tie. You will need your dartless bodice block to do this. I've got a video on this channel on how you can make one. I'll leave a link for the video in the description below and a link above as well. I also have an updated PDF version for the dartless bodice block drafting, which you can download from my website for a token amount. I'll leave a link below that you can click on to access this PDF on my website. In order to make it easier for you to see a holistic view of the pattern making process, instead of using the full scale blocks, I'll be using the half scale blocks for the demonstration. However, I will still give you the measurements that you need in full scale. Starting with the back, trace around your block as usual, making sure to mark your waist point. Lift your block. Now do the same on your front block. Next, draw a line from your front and back shoulder points so that these lines are at 90 degrees to your center front line and also your center back line. In the same way, draw a line from the armhole points like so. Now you are ready to do the drop shoulder adaptation. On the extended line at the shoulder, go out the same distance of your shoulder seam. Note that you can increase or reduce this amount as desired. Now at the armhole point, go out 5/8 inches and down 2 inches. Now we'll draw a new armhole, but before then, we have to make any changes that we need to do at the neck first. At the front neck width, go out by 1/2 inch, and at the depth, go down by 2 inches, and then a further 2 inches for the V-drop. Now at the first 2-inch mark, go out by 1.5 inches. You can increase or decrease these measurements to your preference, as long as you ensure that the neck opening is wide enough for your head to pass through. Using this point, draw your neckline design. Connect your new front neck point to your extended shoulder point for the front drop shoulder seam line. From this new shoulder seam line, square down about 3/8 inch. This will help ensure no sharp points at the tip. Next, draw the new front armhole like so. At the back neck point, go out by 1/2 inch, and at the depth, go down by 1/2 inch. Remember that you can change these measurements as desired. Draw your new back neckline by connecting these points. Now from your new neck point, connect to the extended shoulder point for the back dropped shoulder seam. Just like you did at the front, square down 3/8 inch from the new shoulder seam line. And go ahead and draw the new back armhole. Now extend to the full length of the dress. From the hip line, go down by 10.5 inches or as desired. Go out at the front hemline by 1 inch, and from there connect to the drop armhole point. Go out also at the back hemline by 1 inch and connect to the drop armhole point. The main frame of the pattern piece is now complete. Next, plan the pocket pattern using any one of the pieces. Draw in the waistline right across to the new side seam like so. From the waistline, go down 4 inches for the beginning of the pocket. From the 4-inch mark, go down 5 3/4 inches for the pocket opening. This is usually between 5 1/2 to 6 inches depending on your size. From the 5 3/4 inch mark, go down 3 inches. You can increase the 3 inches by up to 3/4 inch for a deeper pocket. Square out a guideline from the 3-inch point. Starting at the pocket opening, go ahead and draw your pocket piece. Now we apply seam allowance all round. I am using 3/8 inch seam allowance. You can use the same amount or increase as desired. At the hem, I'm using 1 1/2 inches. Then I fold it in and trace to get the right shape. At the pocket, divide the 3/8 inch seam allowance by 2 and mark the pocket seam. We now cut out the completed pattern pieces. Mark the front neck facing plan. Then go ahead and trace this onto fresh piece of paper and apply seam allowance and then cut it out. Now let's go ahead and label all our pattern pieces so far and mark their grain lines as well as number them. Now we trace out the pocket onto fresh pattern paper. Remember to trace the side seam and the pocket seam. Now go ahead and apply the seam allowance all around the pocket, except at the side seam, as it has already been applied from the main pattern piece. Also remember to mark and apply the grain line. This has to be parallel to the center back line. Here I am marking the side seam and the pocket seam. Now go ahead and cut out the pocket pattern piece and label it as well. So far, we have created the front, back, pocket and front facing. We now have the necktie and sleeve left to complete the pattern pieces. For the necktie, cut out paper with length 37.5 inches and width 7 inches. You can also adapt the measurement to your preference. Now fold your paper in two like so. From the top part of the paper, which is your center back line, measure down the measurement of your back neck and front neck minus 3/8 inch and then square a line. On this line, go in by 1/2 inch and connect a line from there to the end like so to create a slant. From the center back line, go down the distance of the back neck and draw the shoulder point line. On the first line, divide the remaining part in two and mark. Mark the same distance at the center back line and rule a line by connecting the points like so. Mark the shoulder point. Now draw the front neck curve. On outer bottom edge, go out by 2 inches and draw a slant line to shape the end of the necktie. The necktie is now complete. We'll go ahead and apply the seam allowance and cut it out. When we open it out, this is what we have. Next, we go ahead and mark the grain line on the bias. This will make it more fluid as a tie and also give it more flexibility around the neck curve. We label it also and note that we will cut 1 pair. Finally, we create the sleeve pattern. Since this is a new armhole, we'll go ahead and create a new sleeve for it. Measure the new front and back armhole and divide the measurement you get by 2. Take note of the result you get, as we will apply it to get the width of the sleeve at the sleeve crown depth line. Rule a center line on a fresh paper like so. Then draw a top line. From the top line, go down by 5/8 inch for the crown depth line. You can increase as preferred, but since the curve on the armhole is narrow in this case, 5/8 inch is okay. Now draw the crown depth line like so. Using half of the front plus back armhole measurement, the result you obtained above, mark the width of the sleeve like so. Next, fold the paper along the center line so as to complete the body of the sleeve. Measure down the full length of the sleeve from the top line. I used 10 inches for the sleeve of this dress, but you can use whatever you desire. Mark the width of the sleeve at the sleeve hem. Now complete the sleeve body. Next, we apply 1.5 inches seam allowance to the sleeve hem and 3/8 inch seam allowance to the sleeve side seam. Transfer the points to the other side of the sleeve. Now cut out the main body of the sleeve. Open the sleeve and mark the back and the front. On the back, draw a line from the center point to the crown depth line and do the same at the front. On the back, divide this line into 3. And at the front, divide this line into 4. At the back, at the first point, go up to the top line. And then halfway between the second and third point, go down by 1/8 inch. On the front, go down by 1/8 inch on the fourth point. Now draw the sleeve head like so, connecting the points. Go ahead and apply the seam allowance at the sleeve head and then cut it out. The sleeve is now complete. Mark the grain line using the center line. Go ahead and label the sleeve pattern piece and then complete all the markings like so. So here are the 6 pattern pieces we have just made. Also, here is showing the full scale pattern pieces along with those we have just made. The front, the back, the sleeve, the pocket, the front facing, and the neck tie. Finally, we mark our notches. Measure the back sleeve head and mark the 1/3 point for the notch, and then mark a second notch 3/8 inch up from the first one. Now mark the same distance on the back armhole. Repeat the same process using the front sleeve head and mark the notch on the front armhole. To get the actual sleeve center point, measure the back armhole distance and mark that distance on the sleeve head. Now repeat for the front. You may have a slight difference. If so, take the center point of that difference. If not, just take the point where you mark the back and the front points and place your notch. Now go ahead as well and mark the pocket notches on the front piece, making sure to transfer the side seam and the pocket seam lines. Now here are the final pattern pieces with all the notches marked. Here I have our full scale pattern pieces and the fabrics I'll be using to make the dresses. I'm going to go ahead and cut out the patterns on the fabrics. Next, I apply the notches, all set for sewing in the part 2 of this video. Thank you for watching, and do not forget to subscribe, like and share this video. Till I see you in my next video. Bye for now.